war far away is already costing Africa. That is the real opening line this week. As the Iran war continues and disruption through the Strait of Hormuz tightens global energy routes, Reuters reports. The impact is already being felt across Africa. Mauritius is facing a heavy fuel oil shortfall. Kenya and Uganda have faced supply pressure and warnings against panic buying. In Somalia, rising fuel costs have pushed tuk-tuk drivers off the road. South Sudan has been rationing electricity. This matters because higher oil does not automatically mean Africa wins. For many African economies, especially import-dependent states, it means tighter transport costs, tighter food distribution costs, inflation risk, and less room for policy maneuver. That is the first signal this week. The second is Ghana. On 25 March, the UN General Assembly adopted Resolution A80L48, led by Ghana, with 123 states voting in favor. Reuters reports. The resolution recognized transatlantic slavery as the gravest crime against humanity and called for reparations, despite resistance from the United States and parts of Europe. It is non-binding, but politically significant. This is the key distinction. It is not immediate reparations money. It is not an enforcement order. It is not a court judgment. But the institutional language changed. That matters because diplomatic language becomes archival language, and archival language becomes future leverage. The third signal is debt pressure. Reuters reported. On 11 March, the Gabon formally requested an IMF program, a move the fund said could help stabilize the country's finances and strengthen transparency. That is not a minor bureaucratic detail. It is a sign that liquidity pressure remains serious enough to require formal multilateral support. Debt pressure does not pause because the world is distracted. It keeps moving underneath the noise. And the fourth signal is diplomatic risk. Reuters reported. South Africa summoned the U.S. ambassador to explain what it described as undiplomatic remarks, underlining how diplomatic friction is increasingly part of the continent's wider policy environment. That matters, because diplomacy now affects more than protocol. It affects trade signaling, investor perception, summit relationships, and strategic leverage. So this week's real story is not 4 separate developments. It is one operating pattern. War far away narrowed African room to move. Ghana moved the diplomatic record. Debt pressure kept tightening, and diplomacy itself became part of policy risk. That is the real week. Not noise. Not recycled talking points. Not headline drift. This is Africa Weekly Record. Documentation over reaction. Evidence first. Context always. Writing as remembrance. Reclaiming Africa's living spirit. Grillo-Abuah.